Greetings, everyone. Welcome to episode 41 of the Avocado Gamescast, a gaming TV show, minus the video, or the budget. Today we're going to be discussing redemption stories. Which games or series got good after shaky starts? But before we get to that, let's introduce ourselves. My name's Merve, and joining me, he's leading the charge to put Birdo in Smash. It's Mr. Glitch.
Hello, friends.
And also joining me, he swears The Witcher makes more sense in its original language. It's Science is Bad.
Hello, it's actually about Birdo in Polish language, so they really messed that up.
Yeah, Birdo, Geralt, I could sort of see the translation mishap there.
Yeah.
Geralto.
I would really love for there to be a Birdo RPG, just set in the Mushroom Kingdom. And
open world RPG, yeah.
Yeah, open world Birdo. I think that would be
open world Birdo. Yeah, that's the name of it.
Open world Birdo. She just goes around. Redemption. Yeah, Red Bird Redemption.
Ooh, even better.
She goes around just launching. She spits eggs at people, right, through her nose mouth.
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Her orifice.
Maybe that's a Cloaca. We don't know anything about Birdo. The most important things about Birdo are not. The bird is in the name, so it must. No comment. Actually, erased all of that. Got it out.
So
delete that.
I do appreciate though that she's part bird, part what we typically call dinosaur, because birds are descendants of dinosaurs. I appreciate.
Link.
Birdo's the missing link. She's the Archaeopteryx of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. I like Birdo. Birdo's great.
Yeah, she's great. I like her in Mario Tennis Aces. She skips across the court, and it's really cute.
I don't know. I've always found her to be a wide awake nightmare, so I haven't really played her in anything.
Well, open world Birdo coming 2020, so 2020, you'll have a great fun exploring the world with Birdo.
I think they're actually calling that game Biomutant.
There are similarities, definitely.
Yeah, I actually am super pumped for Biomutant, which looks really good. I haven't been playing really many open world games or RPGs lately, though. What I've been playing lately, actually, is this puzzle platformer from Swear's new studio, White Owls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's called The Missing. J.J. McField and the Island of Memories. It has a really long subtitle for some reason. It's a JRPG, but it's not.
How many colons does it have in its subtitle? Is it just the one?
Yeah, just the colon between the title and the subtitle. Okay. I was hoping for a couple of dashes, maybe a plus sign or an underscore. You know how these games can get. That's more like a JRPG thing, right? It's like Kingdom Hearts 3.8, Birth of the Underdream, Sleep Forevermore 358/7,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's half the title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's half the title right there.
Bible verses in Kingdom Hearts titles. It's a sweary game, right?
Yeah, it's from his new studio, White Owls. So it came as kind of a surprise. There's barely any fanfare leading up to a release date announcement. It was just oh yeah, here's this game we've been working out. It's coming out in 2 months. And then they just put it out there. Apparently they had enough money to make this, not enough money to make The Good Life, but which is why they turned to crowdfunding for that. In any case, this is a pretty interesting game from what I played so far. I got it for the Switch, so instead of playing it on a big screen on my PC, I usually play it sitting in bed, and it's on the tiny screen, which is good in a way because I get to puzzle platformers are just good things to play in bed. But on the other hand, the way the camera is, it's very kind of zoomed out from the action, so the character is really tiny on screen, and I don't think I'm really appreciating the art and animation on the tiny screen. So I think I might have to actually use my Switch in TV mode to get the full experience. Okay, so as for the game itself, it's this very kind of macabre, spooky puzzle platformer where the main mechanic centers around causing bodily harm to the protagonist in order to solve puzzles. So, for instance, one thing you might do, say you need to throw an object at something to activate a switch, and there are no bricks or rocks nearby. What you do is you pull off your own arm, then throw it at the switch, and then you can regenerate and heal yourself.
Like Decap Attack.
Yeah,
Sort of.
or like Never Dead, that game that everybody forgot about.
Quit hitting yourself, the video game.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really strange. There are other strange mechanics involving bodily harm that I won't spoil, but they involve different combinations of, like dismemberment and like setting yourself on fire and things like that.
Neat.
Yeah. So it's got this really weird mix of, like, I'm not super far into the plot yet, but it's got this really weird mix of clever puzzling and dark humor, and the story seems to be at least mostly serious. So I think they are going to be discussing some fairly heavy issues. I've also heard the game is like super lesbian, but I'm not there yet. So,
Okay.
which I mean is a good thing. So, thank you, Swery. It even opens with a message like, "This game was made with the belief that nobody is wrong for being who they are." Like, that's the message you see every time the game boots up. So,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Cool.
I
you,
saw
Sperry.
some like gameplay of it, and it seemed interesting. And as much as it doesn't, it seems like they take the story very seriously. There is like a lot of like messaging on the phones, right, between like you and various characters.
yeah.
And yeah, and it some of that it's actually kind of funny, I found, like from what I've seen.
Yeah, so it's, I think, very true to life. Obviously some things that, like, don't translate, like, super, super well to English. I'm assuming this is originally written in Japanese. So, like in anime, they'll be like, characters will be like, oh, let's try our best. Or things like that.
Gambaru!
Yeah, pretty much. Those things, like, these are things that people may or may not say in Japan, but, like, definitely won't say in America where the game is set. So there's a little bit of that, but for most part, the attitudes that people display towards each other through the phone conversations are extremely true to life. Right. So, there's the one person you find annoying, you kind of like blow their messages off. There's someone whom you find nice, but maybe a little overbearing at times. So you're nice to them, but you're a little uneasy with them. There's like the ride or die best friend. There's a relationship with the mom. There's a relationship with, say, a trusted advisor at school. I think all these relationships that through the phone conversations are really kind of an accurate representation of what those relationships would be in real life. So it's very nice thing that they've been able to capture with those phone messages. Oh yeah, and some of them are actually kind of funny. So
Yeah, cool. Are you enjoying it?
yeah, I will say it's a little clunky, and I think it's a little buggy too.
Oh, so it's a sweary game.
Yeah. So not in the Deadly Premonition, this game just keeps crashing on my computer kind of way, but in more of like a, I don't know, like BioWare buggy. So not like broken buggy, but
okay.
occasionally I might have to restart the game.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like Mass Effect 2 buggy,
Right. Yeah.
Not super buggy.
It's a puzzle game, right? So
Yeah.
Okay, is it like a puzzle that you figure out what you have to do in like like a minute, and then try to do it in like 15 minutes, and that becomes annoying? Or is it like a more like, oh yeah, you figure it out and making it happen isn't that bothersome? Because
I'd say it's more the
that
latter.
often happens.
Yeah, puzzle platformers often have this problem. I had that problem a lot with Forgotten Anne, another puzzle platformer I completed this year, which is also very pretty. This I have a little bit less of a problem. I just sometimes don't know if I'm bad at solving a puzzle or if I ran into a glitch.
Yeah.
Because this happened once where I ran into a glitch that prevented me from progressing, but then I just restarted the puzzle and it worked. The puzzle setup is actually really interesting in this game because typically in a lot of puzzle platformers, you get this series of mini challenges you have to complete. Like, oh, there's this one ledge and I have to move it, and it starts becoming very rote. In this game, there are sort of like elaborate puzzle rooms, and you have to kind of solve each puzzle room before going on to the next screen. Or next set of screens. It's a little weird, and it's not a setup that I think people will be super used to.
Sounds interesting though, but and are you enjoying the story and like the conversations and all that?
I'm really not super far into the story, so I can't tell where it's going.
Okay, how far have you gotten? Like a couple of hours?
Yeah, 2-3 hours maybe. 3 hours I think into the game. I'm not sure how long the game is. I know it's longer than some other games I've played recently, but I might just be bad at the game. That's also possible. Like, I had to recently give up on Box because I was just too bad at it, and I couldn't beat the third boss. So I haven't fired up that game in like 2 months. I should probably get back to it before and try to complete it before year's end. Anyway, Mr. Glitch, what have you been playing?
Well, I mean, like the rest of the planet, I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, but
oh, nice.
The rest of the planet has, of course, been playing that. I picked up Soul Calibur 6. I'm a huge Soul Calibur nut.
Neat.
Dating back to the old Dreamcast days.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the scantily clad fighters, or is that like all of them?
You're gonna have to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Merve, come on. It's like 95% of fighting games.
Yeah.
Fair
the
enough.
5% never, the 5% never, was never released. So
yeah, the 5% that like nobody ever has seen that, and it's
Soul Calibur's one with Ivy. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
now I remember.
those really scantily clad women.
she's quite scantily clad. Yes, I mean, not the most practical outfit for a combat situation, but there's a pedigree there.
They gotta be better than Dead or Alive, right?
Well, the jiggling is a little more modest.
Yeah, Jesus.
And Dead or Alive. There's no volleyball involved.
Oh my god. I can't.
I mean, if you enjoy Dead or Alive or Dead or Alive beach volleyball, no skin off my back. Go enjoy it.
Yeah, but
I enjoy those.
Not my place to judge. Anyway,
those pointy triangular Xbox era.
I just feel
I guess.
I'm always kind of embarrassed whenever somebody new sees Soul Calibur being played, or like, Dead or Alive or whatever, and they're like, Jesus Christ, how old are you? And I'm like, oh God, this is the worst. So hopefully, maybe I mean it. It doesn't hurt anyone, I guess. Let them do what they want to do, I guess. But I wish for a game where it's a little more, handled a little better.
It's more like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't like the feeling of being pandered to that much.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah. Anyways, Glitch, you're telling us about the game before we went on the stupid tangent.
Sorry. I went on a tangent. Sorry about
I'm feeling incredibly self-conscious right now. I want to go ahead and thank both of you for that.
Yeah, we're super judging you for your buoy fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Continue to talk about that buoy fighter you're totally into. Come on.
Yeah. So what's Soul Calibur 6 like?
So in Soul Calibur 6 Booby Fighters,
okay.
What I like about it is, I mean, I've been playing the series, since Soul Calibur 1 Booby Fighters on the Dreamcast, and the first couple of games in the series are probably one of the tightest controlled fighters that I've played, at least outside of like the 2D realm. Very responsive, very, very fun. The games are really easy to pick up, to the point where you're just mashing buttons. But, to pull off the combos and to kind of to be able to, I guess, properly counter an opponent's attacks and
Like do all the moves properly.
Right, to pull the moves off, or even to just to defend yourself against an opponent. There's a certain amount of practice and knowledge of the different characters' controls. Plus, there's a lot of generic controls that apply to all the characters. So I mean, even if you don't know the special moves for the character that you're playing, you can usually do. I mean, if you're well versed enough with the with the basics of the game, the different types of horizontal and vertical attacks, the grabs and the blocks that you can do in it, you can do really well with a character you've never played before.
Mm-hmm.
And Soul Calibers,
there's like so skills kind of transfer from character to character a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of them do. The basics of the fighting are almost exactly the same. I mean, the big difference being the moves that are specific to each character, the reach of the character. Some characters have longer reach. Some characters have short reach but have quick attacks. So it's you can pick a character that appeals to your play style. Some characters are really, really good at chaining attacks together. Like Maxi is a guy who uses nunchucks, and his single attacks are almost completely worthless. But if you can chain several of them together, you can just wallop somebody to the point where they can't respond.
Now, I've heard Maxi described as the Eddie Gordo of the Soul Calibur series. Would you agree with that statement?
Having no idea who that is, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So really easy, spammy character that you can just like mash things out with.
I honestly, you can chain a lot of combos together by mashing buttons with Maxi, but against somebody who knows what they're doing, they can get those. They can get his combos interrupted pretty easily.
Okay.
He's not the cheapest character. In the original Soul Calibur game, the big pirate guy, the big bad guy, whose name is.
Oh no, Cervantes! I've played as Cervantes. Don't you say anything about Cervantes being cheap? Come on.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the roster right now, and it has Geralt of Rivia and 2B for some reason.
Yeah. Also known as Birdo. Please, it's really Super Smash. It's really Smash.
In a lot of ways, Soul Calibur is kind of it's a spiritual cousin of Smash in that they'll take characters from different franchises.
Oh yeah,
smoosh them into the roster for no particular reason. Like I think it was Soul Calibur. Was it? It was Star 2 Wars. Or 3 brought in Star Wars characters, exactly, like Yoda's, and it was different characters depending on what version, what console you owned Soul Calibur for. I think
there was also Spawn, Link.
Spawn was in it. Link was in it. Yeah.
Aihachi.
A couple of the Tekken crossovers. I think Yoshimitsu is basically a Tekken character that they kind of
from
retrofitted.
Wikipedia. I'm still floored by the fact that Geralt is in this game. Not only in this game, he's on the cover art.
Oh yeah, they'll
make a big deal out of their guest characters. They've always have.
He's not about fit though. He does like kind of fit the aesthetic, I think.
Yeah, because like the Witcher's combat is kind of brawly. I can see it.
Yeah.
And 2B's got laser swords and shit. Yeah, it works.
Well, she's gonna. The Nier Automata character is gonna be in a.
Well, that's
DLC release.
Kind of ridiculous. That a future robot doesn't seem to fit the aesthetics of Soul Calibur that much.
Well, no worse than Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not saying I'm. Yeah.
Come on, the series glory to mankind, eh?
The series has made mistakes in the past. I didn't like the Star Wars thing, but overall, even though at the beginning I went on a tangent, but I'm a big fan of the series.
It remains my favorite of the fighters, and I've dropped off pretty much all the other fighting games other than Smash.
I played Soul Blade on PS1 as my first. I think one of my first, except for Tekken 3, I think it was my first, like a fighting game I got really deep into because like before that there was like Mortal Kombat, but I wasn't very good at that, and Soul Blade was my jam for a long time. Even though it was a worse version of Soul Calibur, but I think it came out before Soul Calibur, Soul Edge, or whatever they called it on Dreamcast.
So I think, if I remember right, it started off life as a arcade game called Soul Edge. And I think it was actually based on, I want to say it was called the Naomi board, which was basically PS1 hardware in kind of an arcade form.
Yeah.
And then it got
ported to PS1 as Soul Blade, and that wasn't that great, but I still loved it. And then they like revamped it and pushed it to Dreamcast as this amazing game that everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and they knocked it. Yeah, Soul Calibur was a system seller for the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, you play it today and it still looks amazing. Like it looks like it shouldn't be on the system.
It does.
It shouldn't work on the system, so it's still amazing to look at. And yeah, I'm actually think about buying this one. I've heard good things, and I don't think I've played 5. I think I've skipped one.
You're not missing much with 5.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, but this one is interesting to me, and also I've heard some good things about the single player stuff. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. So I mean, the story is as nuts as ever. It's
typical
essentially
for a fighting game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, par for the course for a fighting game.
Yeah.
It's essentially a retelling of the original Soul Calibur story, but I mean, it is as inessential as the original Soul Calibur.
Right.
So, I mean, there are some kind of RPG aspects to it. Like my character has leveled up. Like I mean, there's a couple different modes in the game. There's one haven't delved into yet, where you basically you play through the game, kind of like the Injustice series, where you play through the story as different characters as the game progresses. But I haven't gotten very far into that yet. The other portion plays a lot more like the classic Soul Calibur story mode, where the only big exception is that you create a character, and then your created character is taken through different encounters and different geographic locations. A lot like the original Soul Calibur. They've expanded on it a little bit, and that your character can now either earn or buy different kinds of weapons. They can eat food. They give you buffs, health buffs or maybe strength buffs and that kind of stuff. The matches themselves have different rules. Like, for example, they some of the matches might make the floor slippery, like icy, so you're skating around all the place and you try to avoid falling off of the match while you're pushing your opponent off the match. Or ring outs might be completely disabled, and all you can do is just beat somebody into submission. Or in some cases, you might have to in order to actually get an advantage. Like, regular attacks may not work against a specific opponent. In order to get an advantage, you have to pull off the special combos or the guard attacks and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's the story is dumb, just absolutely brain dead stupid, but it's fun. It's a Soul Calibur game.
Okay. Does the narrator say, transcending history in the world, a tale of soul and swords eternally told?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he does.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I'm buying it.
Game of the year, right there.
Game of the year right there. Come on.
Congratulations to Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah.
Science, what have you been playing?
Oh, God. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
Like everyone else ever. I can talk about it a little bit. I mean, everybody has said everything that is to say about it because everyone has played it. So
okay. Most important question. Have you verified that the horse testicles do indeed shrink in cold weather?
I have not, because maybe I'm not that perceptive, but I haven't seen any difference in the testicle width or, circumference or anything.
Okay. Can you confirm that the male horses do indeed have scrota?
I have not. I'm sorry. I haven't done my scientific duty. I feel bad about it.
Science is bad.
Yes, exactly.
As your name says.
Have you observed your horse defecating?
Oh, yeah. I did. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, there's horse shit in this game. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of horseshit in this
A lot of
game.
horseshit. Okay, so tell us about the non-private part aspects of the
Oh
other
man,
animal. Tell us about things that aren't horse dicks.
I'll try. I mean, it's going to be difficult because that's the main, that's the main.
plot.
Yeah, it's the main plot
mean,
point.
I mean, yeah, your character is a total swinging horse dick. It's
Exactly. So,
Yeah, at some point you just got. I mean, at some point you gotta just move on from jacking off horses.
well, hopefully we will soon, but not now. No, okay. So I did play like, I don't know, like 10 hours of it, maybe 12. So I'm not,
Okay, so you're still in the tutorial. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so the game, really is. It has a slow start. So, as many people will tell you, and it's a slow game, slow burn. But that's not. I don't find that, to be a problem. My dog is barking. Please ignore that. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Are there dogs in Red Dead?
And yes,
and
they are.
you can
Yes, they
pet
are.
them.
Yeah.
You can pet the dogs.
Yeah.
I shit you not.
Actually, my dog is like whenever he sees a horse, he gets excited and he barks a little bit, and this has been a huge problem for me. But I'm not going to. He likes to do that. So
is
who
it a
am I to
problem
say?
because you have like an X-Bone with a Kinect and it's like barking commands at the Xbox? Xbox, turn off. Ruff.
It's a problem because he gets too excited sometimes, and my neighbors might have a problem with it.
Okay.
But except for that, yeah. But yeah, I've been playing for like 10, 12 hours, and yeah, I like it. I think. I'm not sure. It's weird.
I think that's how I feel about a lot of Rockstar games.
Yeah.
I think that's
it's
feeling
like,
how with LA Noire.
Yeah, it's different. Okay, so it's more. It's difficult to describe because it's so wide. It's such a big world, and they really did fit a lot of stuff in it. And I haven't yet unlocked everything that I can do. I don't think I've even unlocked like 50% of the things I can do after 12 hours. Like every mission rolls in new stuff that you can do still. So I guess I'm still in the tutorial in a matter of speaking. But from what I've played, there are good things about it and that I really like, and there are bad things about it that I like that really bum me out. And the main story is neither of those things. So that tells you how much I don't know. People say that the main story is actually kind of interesting, but I haven't really been taken by it at all. Like it's fine. It's
A lot of GTA stories or Rockstar stories in general take a while to get going.
Yeah.
Like LA Noirs doesn't get going until like the final act, so it's like 30 hours until you get to what the story is actually about.
Yeah, it's like they design like a good 2 hours to tell a story, and then the first 20 hours are just drawing out the beginning of the story, which is kind of weird, but
I think the only time that's ever really worked for them was GTA San Andreas, where it seems like the story's meandering. I'm going to spoil the story, by the way.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Please, no.
It seems like the story is just meandering, and CJ is the protagonist is touring around the various cities and getting into all sorts of unrelated shenanigans that keep escalating and have very little to do with each other. And then eventually you sort of return to your hometown of Los Santos, and all your old homies are like, dude, what are you doing? You've lost touch with your roots. You've been going off messing around with the CIA. What the hell's wrong with you? And so they turn the meandering part of the story into a strength. They make it part of the story. And I don't think subsequent Rockstar games have done that because it's really only a trick you can pull off once.
Yeah, but I still, even in San Andreas, I liked San Andreas and its story, but I don't know if it did pull it off. It was a neat idea, and I guess it fit into the story, but all of that shit didn't matter to the story. The main story didn't matter. Like all that CIA stuff and like the hippies and like whatever you do in the desert, like all of that, it just didn't matter. It was like side stories 90% through the game. Like,
No, I get that. But I think there's sort of this acknowledgement, like, this was all side bullshit that you did for no reason. But got in deeper and deeper with the fucking cops.
Yeah, but it's still like the most important things happen at the beginning of the story, at the end. Like the whole middle part, you could just cut out, and I don't think there would be much lost in the story. Too much.
Well,
I just think you need the kidnapping by the cops, and that's
yeah.
I mean, I would like to play Andreas one of these days. We'll get around to it, but I'm gonna like offer kind of a differing opinion on like the mundanity of Red Dead Redemption. I think
no.
Kind of helps sell the game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not talking about the mundanity. That's one of the things actually that I like about it. I like the slow start. I like how slow the game is, and I feel that it really fits the Western style.
It feels a lot like you're living in a Sergio Leone movie.
Yeah, it does.
Like outside of the plot of the central story of the game, you can still do things that don't necessarily they don't push the story forward.
Yeah,
but it's stuff that you would, if you were living in this environment, it's stuff that you probably would be find yourself doing anyway. You don't have to go to and buy some hardtack or shoot a deer and eat it and stuff.
Yeah,
and then occasionally have a cool shootout with.
So, do you think it helps you feel more connected to the character that you're playing, or?
I think it does a lot.
Okay.
Well, okay. So as I was saying, there are two things. Like things I really like and things I dislike. The things I really like, and I said the story is not part of it because, as I said, it's not.
You're not far enough into it, really.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of that, but I can't compare it to like GTA games or anything else because I haven't completed and I don't feel like it's not about the how slow it is because it's a Western game. The whole thing about it is like long shots and like getting from place to place is actually really important part of the atmosphere. And the thing I like about Red Dead Redemption 2 is like the atmosphere, like the feeling that you actually. It feels like you actually live in this world in a weird way. Like it does a lot. Like I don't think I don't think I like Arthur that much. He's an okay character, but he's another one of those like Rockstar type characters. And some people will say, no, that's not true. Arthur is different. And like, yeah, but he kind of still is that guy because he has to take a lot of shit and tasks and stupid missions from all over the place, and
that is very, very true.
Yeah, and he does the thing that every GTA and every Rockstar character does, that he takes the missions really begrudgingly. Like he's like, yeah, I don't care what you say, but I guess I'll take it. And it's like he's half listening to what everyone is saying. It seems like, and
it's like he's above it all.
Yeah, and it's like all
everything is puts him out.
Yeah, it's like
everything is
this guy. Like he comes into a bar and there's a drunk guy and he's like, "What is it this time?" And he hands you some list of things to do and he's like, "I guess I'll do it if I have the time." And that's like 90% of the side quests in this game. So
can't you? I'd love to see a Rockstar game with like a do-gooder. Like, hell yeah, I'll do that.
And like engage into what you're doing, like, and not like be like, okay, I guess I get paid for it, so yeah, okay.
Speaking of which, it's almost kind of a bummer that you can't play the game as a more of a like a BioWare style, either do-gooder or complete asshole. Because
I guess you're somewhere in the middle because you're in this weird position of a gang member, right? That kind of wants to do right by people, but also is an outlaw. So
it becomes difficult.
Yeah, it's morally gray, and I kind of like.
Well,
that.
I mean, there are aspects of the game that are not morally gray. I mean, there's a part where you have to bust out one of your I'm not super far into the game either, but there was a part where you had to bust out one of the your gang members who got arrested, and you ended up slaughtering 90% of the townsfolk. Anybody, the game automatically, in addition to the scripted sequences, the game also automatically basically arms everybody who's wandering around, who's capable of shooting at you. If you get into a gunfight.
It's like modern America.
Yes. Yeah, they're dead on it.
Yeah, let's get political. No, I haven't.
We did that last time.
I haven't gotten to the part where you slaughter a whole town. That sounds less great than I've been going for.
That
getting.
Seems like it's totally at odds with the game.
Well, no,
I mean you're still
an
outlaw. Yeah, I guess, but
you are an outlaw. Yeah, you're.
But
if you want to play the game as a total psychopath, the game will let you do it, and I would say it probably encourages it.
That doesn't fit Arthur that much. Like, he tries to be a good guy more often than not. But it all depends on your play style. But
it sounds like we're in no Russian territory here.
Let's not talk about ludonarrative dissonance, as they call it in the business.
Okay.
That's still not the part that really bothers me. Like, that thing has been around in Rockstar games for forever. Like, you play as Niko Bellic, and he really all he wants to do is just be a good guy and like
live the American dream,
quiet,
right?
Live the American dream, and you just mow down people everywhere, and you don't give a shit. And it doesn't seem like the guy that would do that. And that's games, that's video games with like open worlds. You can't do that. It's just not possible to put those restrictions on the player and says you can say this is an open world game, but you can't do that. Whenever you want to do, you gotta let
other
the player
games
do it.
have pulled it off though, like Sleeping Dogs pulled it off, right?
You still can murdering people, you still can do that, and you still can kind of get away with it.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder to get away with murdering civilians.
Yeah, but you still can do it, and the main character would never ever murder a civilian. And like, that's not the character in Sleeping Dogs that you play as, but you can make him do that.
I mean, you can, right? But it's not. The game very actively discourages it, which is not the case for, say, Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's possible to do like a pacifist run of any Rockstar game, at least.
I think, like, for the most part, LA Noire really, really punishes you for doing anything with civilians, and that's pretty okay. Like, they try.
Yeah, LA Noire punishes you, I'd say, even less than Sleeping Dogs, but it still works.
Yeah, it still works. So yeah, it's not possible. So I just accept that kind of thing. But the thing that really bothered me, the thing that really got on my nerves, and maybe it shouldn't have, because it's not a thing that's possible right now in video games, but maybe it would have been. I mean, they've put a lot of, there's a lot of work put into this game, and you can see it. Like, all of the trees move, and whenever you go through the bushes, you like, they move, and you horse goes through it. You kind of just like duck under trees, and it's like really impressive. But man, I really got bummed out at one point in the game, because I saw this guy robbing dead people. Like, I came across this guy that seemingly shot everyone in like I'm not sure what it was. Like a bunch of people that were traveling from town to town.
A caravan?
Like a caravan, yeah. And he was robbing them. I'm not sure
if
he
shot. Political.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure if he shot him or not, but I was like, that's not cool. Like, I guess I want to role play being a good guy, kind of. Which, if the game allows you to be a total dickhead, it should allow you to play a good guy, I think. And I tied him up. I put him on my horse, and I went into town, like going to the sheriff's office, because I thought, like, okay, he like really fucked everything up. Maybe I'll get a bounty for him or something. Like, why would they create this little scene if they don't want me to do anything about the guy? That wouldn't make any sense. I thought that okay, they reported me for kidnapping, and they started shooting at me, and they killed me, and I was really bummed out about all of that. And the guy disappeared from my horse, and I was like, well, this was a total shit show. Like, I arrived in the town, guy on my horse's back, at the sheriff's office, and I see a guy on the other end of the street pointing at me, running into the sheriff's office, and informing him that I have kidnapped a person. No, motherfucker, that's not what I'm doing. Stupid motherfucker. Like, what is your problem? Like, this is how the Wild Wild West works, isn't it? Okay, that really pissed me off, because I just wish that one day we can have that in video games. That
you're absolutely right. I mean, all the scripted events just work beautifully for the most part, but
like
the random
generated,
creating your
a lot of them
own
are really
adventure,
broken.
Yeah, creating your own adventure like doesn't work a lot of the time. Like, there's a lot of cool. The game does a lot of cool scripted events, and those are cool, but you don't feel like it's only you that you experience them. It's like, they've been programmed into the game. Everyone's going to see that guy that, spoilers, the snake bit him, and you can give him the medicine or whatever. Like, you will see that. And these stories that I wanted, like, okay, I caught the guy that was shooting people on the desert and like brought him to the sheriff's office and got money for it. Like, the game was so close to being like, you can like experience your own things in this open world, and it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that, and that's a bummer, because it's
almost like the realism of the animations and the like pushes and the interactions and all that makes it seem like it generates this uncanny valley effect.
Yeah,
where like, well, the rest of this world should work like the real world, and then it doesn't.
I mean, they do such a good job. Like 95% of the animations, the characters interact properly with their environment. It's that 5% that you see where they don't, where something breaks, like a horse is accidentally, spinning randomly in the air or something like that.
Yeah,
those are the ones that really take you out. Which, I mean, you can't blame the developers for that, because they put so much effort into the 95%. It's just a limitation of the technology.
It's not what they were going for, and I see that. It's not like they didn't invest that much into like, tell your own story. They invested a lot of time and money into, let's put you into a world and let you experience the thing that we programmed for it.
Right.
And when it like that part of it works well, and I'm not criticizing that part. And if you're into that when it comes to like open world games, then sure, cool. But after like Legend of Zelda,
Breath of the Wild,
I'm kind of shifted. I've shifted to like seeking to just experience my own stories in open world games, and this doesn't really do that, and that's a bummer. But also, I'm still enjoying the game. Like, I've played poker for like 2 hours of the 12 hours I've been playing the game, so I still kind of get sucked into this world, and it's still very cool, and it's still extremely well crafted. But that it's not quite what I want from my open world games. So I'll see how it goes when I get deeper into it. But for now, that's my that's how I feel about it.
I've definitely done that thing where I've gotten sucked into like a card game mini game in a
triple triad Final Fantasy VIII represent.
So you know what it was for me, and I don't know if this game was a thing in the United States or elsewhere in the world, but in Canada we had this game called the Yukon Trail, which is sort of like the Oregon Trail, except for the Klondike Gold Rush. And when you got to sort of the entrance to the Klondike, sort of the towns at the entrance of the passage there, you could go to a saloon and gamble playing this game called Klondike, which I think was sort of like a mixture of hearts and poker. I don't really know how to describe it. But I played that game like mad. I got like mad good at it.
Merve, you know what? teach me Klondike. I always wanted to learn Klondike. It seems like you're an expert right now.
I mean, I'd have to go fire up my old Yukon Trail CD, which I think is at my parents' place. And my parents don't live in the same country as me, so that's going to be a little hard because I live in the States now. But that being said, I think what was really funny about it, though, was this is an educational game, like the Oregon Trail. Mm-hmm. So there are parental controls in the game, and you could, like, disable gambling in the options.
The devil's game. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think
the devil's game.
I think what you could do is make it so that you could play Klondike but not gamble. So you could just play like Klondike for free.
Like everybody plays Klondike to gamble. Like what? Like okay, that's funny. Actually, I
think I am drawing a complete blank with the name of the game, but in the original Knights of the Old Republic games, there was a card game built in that you could just piss away hours and hours on. It was a lot of fun, and I am completely drawing a blank.
The Fallout games have Caravan as well. That's the popular one. What's the one in The Witcher called?
Gwent.
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 I don't know.
Gwent. Well, I don't know.
Ghent is the treaty that ended. Ghent is a city in Belgium, but also the treaty that ended the War of 1812.
Everybody got that?
That's a history lesson for you guys. Also, the War of 1812 ended in 1814. So,
how long did that 100 Years War last?
Well,
longer
over
than
100 years.
Longer than 100 years, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Who's buried in Grant's tomb?
Pardon me?
Is it who's buried in Grant's tomb?
I'm
just
don't
making.
know.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about American history.
It's a dumb, corny joke. I'm sorry.
I was.
You are making that joke to the wrong audience here.
I'm making dumb, dumb Midwestern corny jokes to the wrong audience.
No, but somewhere out there, someone that's listening into this podcast, you made that person chuckle, and that's important.
I think Americans sort of underestimate how much Canadians learn about America. We learn like nothing about America in our education system.
Also, like nothing. Like
we Americans learn nothing about anything that didn't happen, within the last 50 years, within, I don't know, probably 100 miles of each border. So, don't feel bad.
Yeah, like we learn. Okay, here's what we learned about it. We have like one unit on the United States in like grade 3. And yeah, by the way, it's grade 3 in Canada, not 3rd grade. And then in high school history, we learn about American history to the extent that it influences Canadian history. So we're like, oh yeah, there was a civil war and some loyalists fled to Canada. Oh yeah, slavery was a thing and black people fled to Canada. That's the extent you learn about American history in Canada. And we just like learn nothing else. So we don't even like talk about the Civil War in detail. We're just like, oh yeah, there's a Civil War and it happened.
Oh yeah,
It's okay. All I learned about Canada came from Strange Brew. So.
Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, it wasn't the Civil War that caused the loyalists to flee to Canada. It was the Revolutionary War. See, I even got my history wrong.
How dare you?
Yeah.
You're going to get letters now.
I mean, but the ignorance works. The ignorance works both ways, though, right? So, like,
for
instance, one of my friends in college, she was from the United States, and she was having a conversation with us, and she praised James Madison as this gifted, very intelligent statesman. In Canada, James Madison is the asshole who started the War of 1812. If you go to Canada, like there are a lot of things named after American people there. There'll be things like you'll see Kennedy Street, for instance, right? But there's like nothing named after Madison in Canada. There's like nothing named Madison, and that's why. Just like there's nothing named Brock in the United States. It goes both ways. Anyway, back to video games.
And that was for you kids out there that want to learn more about history. Stay in school.
The more you know.
Don't take
stay
drugs.
in school. Don't play video games. They'll fry your fucking brain.
Don't follow our example.
Although, if you do get addicted to video games, there might be redemption for you.
You can play poker in that.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't segue into this from Red Dead Redemption.
I don't know. We were talking about poker, and then Klondike, and then I don't know.
I don't know what the hell I was trying to do here. That was the weirdest segue. Okay, anyway.
That's pretty good. It all stays in the show.
Yeah, okay, so now we don't have to cut any of our bullshit out. That's good. Like, Kappa's going to be listening to this, editing this, he's going to be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway,
hi, Kappa, we love you.
You're the best, Kappa.
Okay. Yeah, you know what, Kappa, please edit this out, because we didn't actually mean it.
We were lying.
I'm kidding. Kappa's the best. So, we're going to talk about redemption. And what do we mean by redemption? And not like
segue.
not like in like a WWE redemption voice. So a lot of games start out kind of crappy, and a lot of series start out kind of crappy, and then they patch them up or release sequels and make them not crappy. So, which game? Just to start this discussion off, which games do you think have redeemed themselves after shaky starts, like either through patches or DLC or additional content, or even like a sequel that redeemed itself after an initial shaky entry?
Now, I've been thinking about this a little bit. That's a lie. No, I've been thinking about this a little bit, and like I was thinking about, do we count like unfinished games that are kind of, building themselves up to release, or are we talking about only just like released games that have been really crappy at the beginning?
I mean, even games sometimes that appear like garbage in pre-release and then are changed in response to feedback might qualify. So, what do you have in mind?
I mean, I think like a lot of games that went on to have a sequel were really improved. Like I think you already like typed in like Assassin's Creed into your list that I saw, and I think that Assassin's Creed improved the most, but I wouldn't call Assassin's Creed like busted. Like it didn't have.
One was a very different game with a very different vision than subsequent games.
It's completely different. It feels like they went in a completely different direction with Assassin's Creed 2, and it's the same thing with you also wrote Mass Effect, and Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 are very different games. In
Mass Effect 1 is like, it's an RPG.
Yeah, it's an RPG. Like it's like Knights of the Old Republic RPG. Like really goes hard into like customizing everything and like worrying about those points that where you put everything. And Mass Effect 2 is like an action game where they're like don't care about that. So I don't think it really, it depends on what you say about redemption. It's like people that weren't interested in RPGs definitely went and played Mass Effect 2 and enjoyed it, and they wouldn't be able to go back to Mass Effect 1, I think. At least a lot of the people.
Mass Effect 1 was a weird game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because it sort of had its foot in both worlds, and I really enjoyed it, but a lot of people don't like it at all.
There's a lot of micromanagement in Mass Effect 1. That, I mean, it's fun if you enjoy that kind of stuff, but after a while, I mean, you spend a lot of time just dealing with your loadout and dealing with the different types of weapons that will suit your environment. If you get that wrong,
you don't even spend that much. You don't even spend that much time doing useful things. You spend a lot of time just like selling off garbage loot. That's like 90% of your management with the inventory, which is why I really like the Mass Effect 3 system, where you could, customize your loadout and customize weapons and do all that nonsense, but it wasn't in a way that was extremely intrusive.
Would Fortnite be an example of a thing that actually people, got into it after they patched in the Battle Royale? Yeah.
So maybe. That was a game that I think nobody really talked about or played when it was first released. Like the paid for mode, that's sort of the core of the game.
Yeah.
nobody really talked about it very much. It kind of went, people, like, it reviewed well, and then nobody really talked about it. And then they released their PUBG copycat, and it blew up, and now it's way bigger than PUBG. I think making it free to play was the key there. Which is,
Yeah.
Now they must be raking in money hand over fist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I searched on the internet right now for like really busted games, and remember when Final Fantasy XIV was had to be revamped because it was such a garbage game, and now it's like really popular. Like that's a big turn about. Like
It's one of the most popular MMOs now, right?
Yeah, and like
I mean, it's not World of Warcraft, but it's up there.
No, yeah, but it has like a die-hard fan base, and at the beginning it was like really crappy from what I've heard. So yeah, that's like I wish I could talk to somebody that's really into Final Fantasy XIV because that scene is really interesting. Like there's a lot I've read about Final Fantasy XIV. Rock Paper Shotgun did an article about like going to Final Fantasy XIV convention, and it was as interesting as it was enigmatic. So if you're into that, like Evil 9 also has this microcosm of like things that happen in this world, and if you're into those kind of stories, that I advise read that article because it's a very strange thing. But fun.
It's strange for me because I never really meet people who are super into MMOs. I think they're sort of their own social group that I just never interact with for whatever reason. So it's strange to me. Yeah. But they got their devoted fan base. So
it's super devoted from what I've read. It's like it's like a real fan, like a convention for diehard fans that. It was hosted in Las Vegas, which may tell you something about how much people wanted to go to that convention, that they showed up in Las Vegas. Nobody wants to go to Las Vegas.
I think Las Vegas is a place you go to once and then, like, never again.
And only for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's a good place to scratch that itch. Hey, let's see the Blue Man Group once in our lives, and then...
I mean,
let's watch Penn and Teller pull shit out of their asses, and there we go.
Okay, I actually saw Penn and Teller in Las Vegas when I went earlier this year. It was good.
Was the itch scratched?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to go to Vegas ever again. I enjoyed.
Have to play Klondike in Las Vegas.
I don't gamble, so I only gamble in video games.
That's a lie. You gambled in that game when you were a kid. Don't.
I only gamble with fake money in video games, not real money. I don't
gateway drug, man.
I don't play poker. I don't trade stocks.
But what is real money, Merve? Let's talk about bitcoins.
I'm more Bitcoin. I'm more pro Bitcoin, I think, than people who share the rest of my political views. But we don't need to get into Bitcoin.
Let's change.
Let's change subject. Let me tell you about the blockchain, guys. No,
fantastic.
No, I make fun of like shitty cryptocurrencies all the time. Like,
hey, have you guys heard about Q?
Oh, let me hear. Let me.
No, seriously though, like pick any noun and then write coin, and then do a Google search. Like you can do like bear coin or love coin, and then just like do a Google search, and then you'll come up with.
Bitcoin.
You will come up with a cryptocurrency. It'll be like a cryptocurrency with that name.
Cool.
Glitch coin. Okay, let's look this up right now. Is there a glitch coin? Glitch coin. Okay, no, that didn't work.
Well, we know what we're doing after the podcast.
Hey, I called dibs.
Okay, damn it.
I called dibs.
I got blog Glitch coin. No, I think this is just a Spanish blog. It says creador de memes, and then there's a Sheldon Cooper meme. Yo soy el creador de los memes. Bazinga no es cierto.
I understood that because Big Bang Theory crosses like cultural borders. That's how we communicate in the future, I think.
Okay, I don't think this is a.
Parsons.
Big Bang coins.
Okay, glitch. Okay, so there is a coin. There is a cryptocurrency called Glitch Coin, but it doesn't have like an official.
Wait. Is there a
Website.
Bazinga coin?
Bazinga coin.
Come on. There has to be a Bazinga coin.
Bazinga bucks.
Bazinga Coin, BZC, make money writing comedy.
Oh, fantastic.
Are you tired of hearing the same memes with an apostrophe S because they don't know grammar, over and over again? Are you tired of hearing the same jokes that your grandpa told you when you were 5? Here's a solution. Bazinga Coin is creating the world's first decentralized internet comedy database to document the best jokes ever written by man, so it can be historically proven when the comedy was written and when it was acknowledged.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm investing like all my money into Bazinga coins right now.
So I get that stealing jokes is a big problem in the comedy world. How does the blockchain resolve this?
You can trace your joke. You can trace your mama's so fat joke to the originator.
And then it'll be like hashed to the chain
every single exchange of your mama so fat joke. Thousands and thousands of transactions. Your mama so fat transactions back. It all makes perfect sense, really.
Okay, do you have a PowerPoint presentation? Because I'm intrigued.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
I don't know, some bullshit about Ethereum. We believe in the science of okay, they're inclusive. We believe in the science of comedy. Jokes should be objectively funny, disregarding sex, appearance, or age.
Oh, I like that.
We want to know the core of the joke and what makes people tick.
Objectively funny. Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
I don't know. Okay. I'm
a guy slipping on a banana peel. That's objectively funny.
I mean, you said a guy. That's a man. That's about sex.
Shit.
Yeah, has to be a non-gender specific human.
Oh yeah, okay.
Maybe even not a human. We don't know.
We
don't identify.
Objectively, it has to be.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and say that a water buffalo slipping on 4 bananas all at once, that probably qualifies as objectively funny. No one.
I'm laughing.
I am laughing also.
It's like the buffalo.
Hey,
joke.
do I have to give you Bazinga coins now for laughing at this joke?
Oh shit, you do.
I think so. I think
that's how it works.
Yeah. So this whole crypto boom has like made graphics cards super expensive now and is using a lot of electricity and is ruining gamers' lives. Because we can't afford graphics cards anymore. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to bring this back to video games, but I'm not succeeding.
You know what was the busted fighting game? Street Fighter V. At the start there, it was really bad, but then it got better.
Thank you for that not segue.
It had battle coins, which are also cryptocurrency in a way.
So it had like a premium fucking currency. Like you pay for the game, and it's just like, do more microtransactions now.
That's how we go back into video games with bullshit cryptocurrency.
That's not crypto. That's just like premium fake ass
currency.
premium
Currency. It's the Chuck E. Cheese tokens of the video game.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely that.
Yeah, but see, the Chuck E. Cheese tokens are why it's not gambling, right? Whereas,
damn it, I want that oversized novelty comb. Only 10,000.
Okay, now we brought it full circle back to gambling and crypto.
No, are you saying Chuck E. Cheese was a gambling den?
Oh,
it's fucking gambling for kids.
Like,
I will hear none of this, sir. Mr. Chuck E. Cheese was an upstanding citizen.
Wait, is he dead now? Did we kill the fucking mouse? Is that
he
what we
is
did?
definitely dead.
Explosion.
Exactly, yeah.
They all died in a plane crash.
He got buried with his cryptocurrency. The Chucky coins.
Chuck coin.
It's Chuck coins. Okay, yeah, a lot of the games busted. What were you talking about?
There is no Chuck coin, but Chuck operates like a numismatics store. So if you're a coin collector and want to sell coins to Chuck, go to Redding, California.
Yeah, definitely.
At 2930 Bekele Lane, you can find Chuck's coin.
So a little bit of free advertising for you, Chuck.
Chuck will accept any kind of cryptocurrency.
We are not sponsored by Chuck's Coin, by the way.
We are not sponsored by any form of cryptocurrency. We actually we're
We're
not
sponsored by Dollar Shave Club,
at all.
right?
What?
We're sponsored by Dollar Shave Club.
And we're sponsored for Casper mattresses.
Yeah, Nature Box.
Nature Box.
They're all supporting us right now.
Exactly.
And what's that stupid website thingy where like you go and you make yourself a website and every podcaster on the planet
Squarespace?
advertises? Squarespace? That's it.
Yeah, Squarespace. For people who don't know how Google Sites works.
Let's not say bad things about advertisers. We don't know where we'll be in the future.
We're never.
If we ever make money off of this, I will apologize profusely to Squarespace.
Like, give me money, Squarespace. I'll stop offending your shit.
Okay.
That's the science's bad guarantee.
Yeah, we like to hold our sponsors hostage.
Exactly.
Squarespace, you suck unless you pay us money.
You suck shit. Now pay me big bucks.
This is gonna get us into even more trouble than whenever we make fun of Randy Pitchford.
Sorry, Cap.
Yeah, I'm surprised Pitchford hasn't sent his lawyers after us yet. I mean,
I don't think he knows we exist.
Yeah, don't sue the avocado.
Exactly.
Please.
We are a peaceful bunch. We don't want to.
So yeah, Street Fighter V. It started out kind of crappy, and then it got better. So what was crappy about it at launch, other than the fact it didn't have multiplayer? I think Passion or single player.
Yeah, it didn't have any kind of single player. It was a really rough deal to buy that game because you didn't have anything to do. There was nothing to do except multiplayer
online matchmaking.
Yeah, it didn't really have any tutorials. Basically, it had some challenges, and that's it. Like, you know how like fighting games get better and better with tutorials and like trying to teach you how to fight, and like Street Fighter V came out and said fuck that, this is Street Fighter, you already know what Street Fighter is all about. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, you added a bunch of things that I'm not sure how to do. And they were like, well, tough shit. So yeah, it wasn't good at the beginning. The fighting itself was pretty good, although people still are like very, very grumpy about Street Fighter V because it simplified a lot of things. It removed a bunch of the moments where you can like. There's a lot more frames of animations where you can make connections to another move. Like you don't have to
do like frame perfect tricks.
Yeah,
anymore.
you don't have to be frame perfect. Like the frame, like in Street Fighter 4, I think some of the moves had like 3 frames where you could like link the move, and right now the minimum is like 7 or something. I'm not sure. I might be pulling that out of my ass, but I know that
made it a little simpler.
Yeah, they made it a little simpler, and people are pissed off still about that. But
okay, but so how did the game redeem itself?
No, those people are still pissed, but the game really got better with like inclusion of single player content. Like every character now has like an arcade mode that they can go through, and it's not much, but it's something. It's like 15 minutes for every character, like 3 fights or something, and there's this big story mode that's like something similar to Mortal Kombat's story mode, or Injustice story mode, a little bit like that. It's of course not as good.
Really like silly and over the top.
Yeah, but it's like Link's fights to with cutscenes and changes characters throughout the story. It's kind of interesting, and there's a bunch of challenges now, and there's a tutorial that kind of teaches you things. Yeah, it's way better, but it's still not as good as when it comes to single player as like Neversoft or maybe even Soul Calibur. It's still not the greatest, but it's
gotten a lot better.
It's gotten a lot better, and for free. All of those were free updates.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard
arguably things that should have been included in the game at launch.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's arguable from what I've read. I've never played it, but I guess it was kind of a mess. It was a game where it was $60 plus a stack of micro transactions for additional DLC for stupid stuff.
Yeah, and there's still.
And Soul Calibur kind of suffers from that already. There's a $30 season pass which unlocks a whopping 1 character and then some stupid outfits, or you can just unlock that 1 character for $5.
Yeah.
So Soul Calibur's kind of heading down.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great value proposition.
Yeah, like all of the fighting games suffer a little bit from that. Like the latest Mortal Kombat was riddled with like, you know, DLC garbage up front. Like they were trying to sell you the things to, you know, like characters and costumes and all of that. And you know, it's not only Street Fighter V that, you know, goes in that direction, but Street Fighter V definitely like lacked any other content for like to make people interested, and yeah, it was a bummer. But now when you pick up Street Fighter V, I don't know, during a sale or whatever, even because it goes on sales frequently, you will be definitely getting your money's worth. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to know that they've added the content that should have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
They do that a lot with games these days. Like No Man's Sky is a completely different game than what it was when it released.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to reinstall and try that ever since I found that out. I bought it. I haven't. I bought it. I played it. I got bored. I haven't touched it. I installed it because I needed the hard drive space, and then I haven't touched it since. I've been meaning to come back and check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if they can fundamentally like fix the fact that, you know, just walking around samey looking planets is boring, but maybe they've done something interesting. I don't know.
Listen, when you watch Star Trek Enterprise, it all looks very exciting, exploring the galaxy. But truth be told, it's probably really boring. So, you know, it's just a simulation of what it would be.
Yeah,
it's a boring simulator.
Yeah, it's a boring simulator. What do you
Life
want?
simulator.
Go to your work, earn your paycheck.
Yeah.
No, if you want like a really mundane simulator, so I saw a friend of mine.
Art life.
Okay, like I mean that game actually had a point. I saw a friend of mine, and this game has not been translated into English, by the way, but I saw a friend of mine playing this game on Steam called, I guess it translates to Chinese Parent Simulator, and it's like you're supposed to be like a mom or dad raising a kid in China, and you have to like make sure they succeed academically, and there are like match 3 mini games involved in doing this. It's really weird, but apparently kind of addictive. And now I want them to translate the game into English so I can play it. Yeah, that game exists. So.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of video games out there. I think like anything that you can think of is probably somewhere at this point. Like there's a lot.
Yeah, so, you know, games from all over the world get made, and not all of them get translated into English, for better or for worse. But like, if you look at their Steam page, it's just like 20 comments of, when is this coming out in English? When is this coming out in English?
You just learned Chinese. How hard could that be? Come on.
That's not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, I could just like play it and ask her to translate for me, but I don't think that would work so well. Anyway, so moving back to games that have redeemed themselves. So yeah, No Man's Sky is apparently an example of it. It's just a completely different game than it was when it launched. Another one that got kind of mixed reviews when it was launched was Mario Tennis Aces, because it felt like it was launching sort of bare bones. But then they patched in additional single-player content.
So a very similar issue to Street Fighter V.
Yeah, but I mean, there was like a full-fledged single-player campaign that takes you know about 8-9 hours to beat.
Yeah.
And then they added in more single-player content in a patch, and then they've been adding in free DLC characters every month.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I think
now, like
I don't know that they were DLC so much as that they were, which was something that was a little frustrating about Mario Tennis Aces, the new one or whatever. Is that the characters were locked, and the only way to unlock them was to dip into the multiplayer facets of the game.
So I mean, those eventually it releases a month early, basically.
Yeah.
If you do multiplayer,
which is fine if you care about multiplayer, but if you don't,
I don't. I haven't even fired up the multiplayer ever.
Yeah, I tried it just long enough. I tried it. I biffed a couple matches, and it got me my unlocked characters, and that was it. And that was before Nintendo started charging for the online service.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken my Switch online really, other than to like have an online profile. I have like one friend on it too. I just haven't bothered adding anybody because like fuck friend codes, man.
Oh yeah.
In any
I
case,
agree.
In any case, they've added a lot more characters now, and I think originally it seemed like kind of a threadbare roster because they're missing, a lot of actual They're missing Birdo. How do you launch without Birdo?
How could you miss Birdo? Like that's not. Come on.
Well, I mean, once again, Birdo is a wide awake nightmare, so I'm not really feeling that bad for.
Okay, come on.
But I guess that's just my own opinion.
If Birdo disappeared from your nightmares, you would miss Birdo too.
If let's have that happen, and then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Birdo is so cute.
Birdo is the cutest.
Yeah,
Birdo, if you look into Birdo's nose, you look into infinity.
You don't know if that's it's a nose. You don't know
it's a nose mouth. It's both.
You don't know what part of a body is that.
It's not a cloaca. Right?
Yeah,
it's
you
on
don't
her
know.
face.
Okay, it's a bird, isn't it?
Birds don't have cloacas on their faces. That's not how.
Okay, so what do birds lay eggs with?
Exactly.
They're cloacas.
Yeah, and what does Birdo spit out of its mouth hole?
A high pressure cloaca. It's a
pressure
mortar
cooker.
launcher.
It's a pressure cooker cloaca.
So how
that's the episode name, pressure cooker cloaca.
I don't think we want to put the word cloaca in an episode name.
What are you talking about?
We're already pushing it with Battle Condom Anime. People were like, "Why is it called that?"
It's intriguing. See,
I mean, I can't even remember why it's called that. I don't remember what the joke was. I just remember somebody said Battle Condom Anime. I was like, "Oh, that's the title now." Yeah. Anyway, so they added Birdo in, and you know who the most adorable is though?
Yeah.
Blooper. He's so adorable. I love him.
Blooper's in it now. That's cool.
Yeah, Blooper.
Oh, yeah,
he's
Blooper. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He goes like bloop bloop bloop, and then he like celebrates and smiles when he wins points. He's the best.
That's great.
Yeah, fucking Blooper, man. Yeah, so that's a game that I think has sort of redeemed itself by adding in more content post-launch. I think kind of the biggest example of this though is Diablo 3, from what I've been told. Never played it. Do you guys remember when Diablo 3 launched?
I remember it launching.
I don't remember because I wasn't able to get a hold of Diablo 3 because nobody was selling it because it was sold out.
If I remember right, it was a hard game to just get running on a PC.
No, I couldn't. I really wanted to buy it and I couldn't, and that was also kind of a.
Wait, wasn't it available digitally?
I don't remember. It was some kind of like weird thing. Like I remember. Like it was coming out
artificially restricted digital supply.
Yeah, I think it wasn't coming out in Poland like later on digitally, and there were only CDs, and they were like, "Oh, we're all CDs," so. That was annoying as hell.
Yeah. So, remember when it launched, there was this Arrow 37 where people weren't able to connect to the game because it was always online.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had the Real Money Auction House.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, yeah, the Real Money Auction House was such a freaking disaster.
Yeah. So that fucked some shit up, and then they patched out the Real Money Auction House. I believe now they have an offline option for the game. Yeah. They patched that in as well. So, yeah, they changed the game completely, and now people like it as opposed to... I mean, they had to do a lot of adjustments because they'd essentially built the game around the Real Money Auction House. So they had to change the way loot dropped and everything.
Diablo 8. Diablo 3 is such a weird game, isn't it, though? It's like such a weird game. Like, it's such a big game, and yet it's like a clicker, basically. Only if you're not playing on a very super hard difficulty, it's the easiest game in the world. Like, you cannot die, and even if you die, there's no consequences. If you're not playing Iron Man, like I like Diablo 3, but I basically play it and listen to a podcast. It's weird. That's like so popular.
Yeah, I don't know. Blizzard fans are their own Diablo's sort of its own thing, right?
Yeah.
It's become
Diablo
such a.
I mean, it had a great pedigree. Diablo 2 was a wonderful game.
It was more involved than Diablo 3, I think.
Right.
Like Diablo 3 is even like Diablo 2, you could screw up and die, and in Diablo 3, not only is it very hard to die, and you die like in a second. You sometimes you can't even. Okay, I'm going on a tangent why Diablo 3 is a weird game, but I still enjoy it, and I guess we should move on to why it was messed up at the. I mean, they fixed it. By the time
it was messed up for a lot of reasons, though, right?
Yeah.
And it became like a black mark on the company, right? That they'd done this, and it sort of ruined Blizzard's reputation for a while until I'd say at least until Overwatch came out, and then they sort of redeemed themselves with that game because it became super popular and everybody loved it at release.
I think Overwatch is more popular than Diablo at this point, right?
Oh yeah,
so definitely
by far. Overwatch has a level of cultural penetration that's unparalleled in the video game world. Yeah. I have never played a second of Overwatch, yet I could probably name you almost the entire roster.
That's impressive. Come on, go.
Like now you put me on the spot.
No,
okay,
go.
So there's
like
Symmetra, there's
there's
Mercy.
There's Sparky. Don't forget Sparky. There's the one that does the underhanded thing, who's evil. There's the one that blows bubbles.
The Bubble Man.
Bubble Man.
Bubble Man.
I think you're just naming Ninja Turtles.
No, okay, Merv, come
Either
on.
that or Mega Man robots.
Okay, let's fight.
Okay, let's see how far I can get.
Yeah.
So there's Symmetra, there's Mercy, there's Pharah, there's Orisa, there's Diva, then Soldier 76, Winston, the cowboy dude, I forget his name, Reaper?
John Wayne.
There's kind of two cowboy dudes.
Then there's Lucio.
You're right.
There's the whole Lucio Ball thing. Who else is there? There's oh god, now I'm drawing blanks. Torbjorn.
Jesus.
There's Junkrat.
Yeah, for a person that never played the game, you know a hell of a lot about its characters.
Yeah, Winston's the gorilla, right?
Winston's the gorilla. Yeah.
Then there's that old sniper lady whose name I forget.
Sniper Wolf.
Sniper Wolf. Sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, have you played Overwatch, Science?
Yes, a bunch.
Okay, so you can confirm that I'm naming actual characters, right?
Yes, yeah.
We've actually just been humoring you this whole time. We have no idea who you're talking about, man.
Oh yeah, there's May as well, the Ice Frost lady.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You've done pretty well.
Yeah, so I've named like half the roster.
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a hamster in there somewhere too.
Yeah, Hamataro, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the new character, right?
Yeah. The new character is like the Western lady.
Yeah, so there's like a new character who's like the Western lady. Then there's a new character who looks like David Bowie. And then there's the new character who's a hamster.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a hamster.
And wasn't there like a Scandinavian lady that they added at some point?
Yeah, Bridget or something like that.
Bridget, that's her name.
She's the daughter of Torbjorn.
Torbjorn.
Yeah.
Doesn't Torbjorn just go around saying Torbjorn?
Torbjorn.
That's all he ever says.
Torbjorn.
He's like a
Don't forget
Pokemon.
my name.
It's like Torbjorn, and it's just like runs around like Pika Pika, but like Torbjorn.
Torbjorn.
Torby Tor.
And then you hide him in your Pokeball.
Yeah.
Okay. They should make them all like Pokemon.
I
like,
choose you,
fight each other.
Torbjorn. Torbjorn.
Yo, I would so play an Overwatch RPG that's just like them fighting against each other, but with like RPG powers, and it's single player.
I think that's Hearthstone. Or no, that the overhead whatever freaking shooter that they came out with that it's now like a mishmash.
Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, that's it.
The what?
Yeah.
Heroes of the Storm.
That's a MOBA.
Oh yeah, the MOBA. Yeah.
Oh yeah, MOBAs are still a thing. Do people still play MOBAs?
I don't know.
Like, do people still play Dota 2 and
I'm
Smite?
sure they still play Dota.
League of Legends. Like,
yeah,
nobody talks about MOBAs anymore.
Because everyone talks about all this other shit that came out, Fortnite and like.
Yeah, because then hero shooters were a thing, and now battle royale games are a thing.
Yeah, now battle royale games are a thing, and who knows what will be the thing in like 2 years.
Y'all remember like the E3 PC gaming show this year?
Oh yeah,
It was just there were like I think 3 or 4 different battle royale games shown off.
Remember when like there were like 4 MOBAs coming out like at one time, like it was crazy. Like there were like, I remember like playing 4 MOBAs at one point, like not at the same time, like one after the other, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is insane. And now it's the same thing with battle royale games.
It's so weird that all these fads have passed me by. I know I sound like an old person when I say that, and I think I'm actually the youngest person on this podcast. But regardless, it's strange. I've never played a MOBA. I've never played a battle royale game. I don't think I've ever even played a hero shooter.
Actually, I played these games because I just played games with my brother, and whenever there's a new fad, we just kind of like play a new multiplayer game. But I haven't played a battle royale game, not even once.
See, my sister basically, once she graduated high school, just stopped playing video games. So I don't have that connection with her, and so I just don't have a reason to like pick up these kinds of these co-op or multiplayer games. Like I'll sometimes play them with old college buddies. Also, I should call them university buddies because I went to university in Canada. College means community college in Canada. Anyway,
wait, are we talking about Canada again?
I guess. I mean, okay.
Have you played Klondike in college? I'm sorry, university.
Yeah, so we call it university in Canada, like the rest of the world, and college refers specifically only to community college.
We don't have college at all.
Or like diploma granting institutions.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Canada for you.
That's Canada.
Anyway, so my old undergrad buddies. That's unambiguous. My old buddies from undergrad. I sometimes play video games with them, but then like I don't have a reason to get into these multiplayer games, so I just like never end up playing them. So I don't know about the MOBAs that started off crappy and ended up good, or like, oh, this battle royale game was bad and they patched it and it ended up good. Or this battle royale game was bad, and then it caused the company to go bankrupt, and now they're dead, and now Cliffy B doesn't have a job. I mean, that's not why
he will find a job, I'm sure. He's a talented man. He'll find something to do.
Yeah,
I don't know if he wants to.
Radical Heights or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the state in which they released it tells you everything you need to know about it. Because they were like they were like going bankrupt. They needed a cash injection. It just didn't come from Radical Heights. But the state in which they released it, the what's emblematic of it is they had in like the character selector, they had like a placeholder for female characters, and they're just like, female characters will be coming soon to the game. Like they just hadn't built the female character models yet.
It's a very strange thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just like male character and then like a placeholder for female characters. And like I fully believe that they had every intention of doing it.
Oh yeah.
And like
but it's
I get like you pick a default.
Thing.
I get like you pick a default and then you test it with one and then you build the other model. Fine. But like you're putting it out into the world like that, especially after, you know, Cliffy B's made a big show of saying, yeah, we really care about putting diverse characters in our games and we're definitely going to do that. Sorry, like internet bigots, this is what I do now. And then he releases this game, which is like, yeah, it's just dudes. Sorry for now. So that tells you the state in which they released it, because I don't think they would normally want that out in the world. It tells you how desperate they were to get some cash.
What happened to Unreal Tournament, the new one? Has anyone ever played that thing? Like, I remember like it being unfinished, and then I lost track of its development.
Does it do Unreal Tournament?
I played the original many moons ago.
Yeah, there was a new Unreal Tournament, and
now I need to
and remember this. And Quake and the new Quake. What happened to the new Quake? I didn't even play it.
I don't hear people talking about either anymore.
There was a Quake 4.
And then there was the new Quake.
No kidding.
Okay, yeah. Unreal Tournament is upcoming.
Oh,
it's not even out yet.
Yeah. And about the Quake came out. The new Quake came out. I'm sure of it, but it did...
okay. Let me actually tell you what's going on. Since July 2017, there have been no new updates. The bulk of the developer team has since transitioned to develop and maintain Fortnite Battle Royale. Development of Unreal Tournament was confirmed to be halted indefinitely in 2018.
Oh no!
Well, there we go. That's a.
Oh no! Oh,
so
that's
Battle Royale games are why you don't have a new Unreal Tournament. And
Quake
the new Quake is out.
Quake
Champions is out. But that's like a free-to-play shooter. Like, what does it have to do with the original Quake at all?
I don't know. They just made.
Well, to be honest, Quake 2 had nothing to do with the original.
I was just about to say, yeah. I don't know what they should make. They have all this IP that they're sitting on. They could make a new single-player Quake, and it would probably sell.
Oh yeah, Quake Champions would be made free to play and open 12 players on August 10, 2018. So I suppose it's already free to play. If you want to play Quake Champions, you most definitely can. Not that you want.
I'm not really a deathmatch person. I'm really bad at deathmatch.
I mean, truthfully, like people moved on from like those kinds of video games. Like, I'm not surprised that Quake didn't make a huge comeback.
Isn't deathmatch still huge in like the Call of Duty scene?
I mean, that's Call of Duty. That's like it was like a fad before like these fads, right? So
like Half-Life 2 deathmatch is a thing.
Yeah,
Half-Life 2 has multiplayer.
Yeah, but it's a very specific type of deathmatch where you're like, you don't have a lot of health, right? You just can like take one or two shots. Shooting.
Overwatch introduced a deathmatch mode, and I don't think it's really taken off. I think people tend to prefer the team modes better. Yeah,
just curse you just curse and call names and like to say that your players' teammates suck. That's what people like to do these days.
Yeah.
See, you know what game was really ahead of its time in terms of multiplayer was? Do you guys remember Command & Conquer Renegade?
Yeah,
vaguely. Yeah.
It's been so that was like the central multiplayer mode in that game was a team-based sort of capture the flag-ish kind of game. It was basically like destroy your opponent's base. Was the objective there.
Remember StarCraft Nova?
Oh yeah, that was a the character's still around. Nova is still something of a phenomenon within the Blizzard lore. I think she's in.
Oh yeah, definitely. And isn't that weird? Like that's also like a part of this subject. Like, hey, we know that this game will come out like too crappy for our standards, so we're just not gonna put it out. Which is only a company that has a lot of money can do that kind of thing. Like most companies, it's crappy, but we wasted a lot of money on it. Like we will release it and get anything from it. We have to. And Blizzard's like, oh, we're sleeping on money, so whatever. We care more about our reputation than the state of like.
So you're referring to StarCraft Ghost, correct?
Yeah, StarCraft Ghost. Yeah, that's the name of it. Okay. Yeah, not Nova. Yeah. Yeah.
So
weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Also, the Titan MMO that they made that they just sunk, that like huge amounts of money. And I've just heard that like Diablo 4 was like scrapped totally. Like they had a version like a third-person perspective, Dark Souls type that they were working on. And they were like, nah, this is garbage. We don't like it. And it's
this is garbage. Let's make a phone game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nah, but they started working on like Diablo 2, like isometric Diablo 4 again. And they were like, yeah, that's why we haven't announced anything for Diablo 4 because this is all like in flux. It's not. We're not sure if it's going to exist even in a couple of months, this version that we're working on. And that's only Blizzard could do these kind of moves. Like, oh yeah, we have sunk a bunch of money and time, but yeah, this game is just it's not good.
So there's one game that not made by Blizzard that actually fits the bill here. Do you guys remember this game called 6 Days in Fallujah that never came out?
No.
No.
So it was supposed to be this first person shooter set in Iraq, that was supposed to take a very ground's eye view of the conflict and portrayed the conflict supposedly in a very sensitive way. But given the controversy surrounding it, in fact, let me just look up what exactly the controversy was, so that I'm not. Yeah, I think basically it was it was made by Atomic Games, which is I believe a British studio, and no, they're American. Sorry, they're in Austin, Texas. Anyway, so this American studio is making this game that was supposed to depict the conflict in Iraq in a fairly sensitive light, and essentially anti-war groups stopped its release, especially given the opposition to the Iraq War and how controversial that conflict was.
Yeah.
They were making this back in I think 2009.
Yeah.
At a point where the Iraq War was still very much ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of the controversy, it never ended up being released. And, there's a... I mean, you can argue, should we be glorifying or depicting an ongoing conflict in a video game? I don't know what the correct answer to that question is. But it does mean that, Konami ended up dropping the game because it's too controversial. Sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, there were too soon type arguments made for games set in the Vietnam era. So, I mean, you're going down a hell of a
Battlefield, Bad Company to Vietnam.
I mean, they were still saying World War I representation would be for Battlefield. They were like, I don't know about that because that war was really messed up. So glorifying it's still kind of and that was almost a couple of generations ago. So I don't think there's an expiration date on something.
There are no living World War I veterans anymore, I assume.
Yeah.
I mean, there were when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Now World War II veterans are slowly dying out as well.
World War II is a bizarre exception. It's almost
really
fictional in the way that it played out. That for whatever reason,
there's this larger than life villain.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, there are video games dating back. There are World War II video games dating back as long as there have been video games.
Yeah, but think about even
killing the Nazis has been basically the crux of video game villainy.
But think about the representation of World War I and World War II in any other media also. World War II is represented in a bunch of stuff, and World War I is not really. Not many people are making things about World War I, mostly because it was such a convoluted conflict that pitted brothers against brothers and all of that horrible things that happened.
It was a much more morally ambiguous war.
Yeah,
too. I mean, I guess World War II, you have your good guys and your bad guys, and there's a very harsh, very, 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 very strong delineation between the two.
Yeah,
I mean, part of that is arguably due to the American involvement that sort of has given America's huge...
It's been mythologized quite a bit, definitely.
Yeah, it's been mythologized given, the American involvement causes it to be mythologized given that they are the progenitors of most pop culture in the modern era. So, as to your point about World War I, so it's definitely not a thing in American pop culture, at all. It is a significant part of Canadian popular culture.
And English.
World War I...
England also, yeah.
England as well. So, growing up and, you remember, so we have Veterans Day in the United States on November 11th. And in Canada, that's Remembrance Day, commemorates the end of the First World War. It's a much, much more solemn occasion in Canada. And so, every year on November 11th, kids in schools go to Remembrance Day assemblies where they're not allowed to applaud at any presentation that's made. They all wear poppies on their lapels or over their hearts, and they're just completely silent for an hour or two while people read poetry or perform music relating to the end of the war. And the other thing is that because World War One is such this pivotal moment in Canadian history and also in like Australian history, British history.
I was going to say World War One was probably seen, as much more significant for Australians than people in the United States as well.
Yeah, because for a lot of former British colonies, they're still sort of under the thumb of their former colonial masters, like under the thumb of Britain at the time.
I'm thinking of like the Battle of Gallipoli.
Yeah, it was seen as them like sort of asserting their independence on the international stage, and so it became part of those countries' mythology. So there are a lot of Canadian World War One films, which sometimes they're co-productions with British studios because there's not that much Canadian film money lying around. But like, there's films about, say, the Battle of Passchendaele that would never be made in America because they don't star Americans. So yeah, World War One popular culture is just not. I mean, it's because it's a more solemn thing. It's hard to depict it in popular culture, and also B, it's not really an American thing. So it is depicted in the pop cultures of the respective countries that were involved in it, just not so much America. And
in
America
Poland, in Poland, it's kind of interesting because we didn't really have a country at that time because of the partition. So for 100 years we didn't have a country, and at the end of World War One we regained our independence. So it's mostly like a patriotical, like for patriotism, like the when there was like the 100 years anniversary was this year, right? So it was like a big for Polish people, like, oh yeah, we regained our independence, more than like, oh yeah, World War One was ending. So it's a different perspective.
So yeah, those two things get conflated, and then one obviously takes precedence.
Yeah.
So moving back, I guess, to video games that redeemed themselves.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
This was a video game podcast.
Wow,
this was a video game podcast at some point.
This is a meandering podcast.
That's
Kappa
all right.
will have to cut like 50% of this.
Don't worry, we'll keep it all in. This is good. This is good hashtag content. I'm making a hashtag symbol with my fingers right now, but you can't see it because we don't have a video budget. Sorry, guys.
We will in the future if we will get sponsored.
Yes.
I mean, it's just
come on, Squarespace. You want us to stop talking shit about you? Pony up.
Squarespace
we literally just have to like turn on our webcams.
What are you talking about? That costs.
I'm not putting my ugly mug out there.
Well, I should point out, if we're gonna go down this road, I should point out that every time I've recorded one of these, I have been bare ass naked. Just
okay. Well, I am not bothered with that, but maybe don't turn on your webcam.
Yeah, I don't want to turn my webcam because I'm wearing a MAGA hat right now. No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I'd keep my Trump support quiet.
I'm like Lenny from The Simpsons. I just can't show people how I live.
Okay, I'm kidding. Yeah, Lenny. No, not Lenny. Okay, sorry. Back to video games. So why do you think we sometimes see a lot of video games with these shaky starts? I mean, we've been making video games for, 30, 40 years now. You'd think we'd have kind of gotten it figured out. Why do we keep seeing these games that get released crappy and then become better later?
Well,
I would say for the same reason we see this in, movies, in television series, I mean, it's one thing to have a pedigree of, decades. It's another to be able to come up with a whole, entirely new IP or idea or game design or whatever, execute it and pull it off, wonderfully the first time around.
I mean, when you have a good base, it's easier to build on that, like making a sequel. That's like, when it comes to movies, it's different. Like sequels to movies aren't necessarily always better because movies are like concept ideas that you have one concept and you execute it. But when it comes to TV shows, you can have like a crappy first season and then better second season and even better third season and so on. And it's like
Parks and Recreation, right?
Yeah, or like I was talking with Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek.
Hey, I knew it.
We're always talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, we're talking about the series that, good God, it was lucky to make it out of the first season.
Yeah, oh, Star Trek really got lucky. So also video games like if you have like controls like gameplay and you can refine them over like couple of games and they get better and better because it's like the more people play them and the more it gets focus tested, right? So like really the first game is like you're figuring stuff out still in a way.
Yeah, I think, and as for individual games, not just series, one reason I think that they sort of release in this state is because development schedules are so compressed that they just don't have time to fix bugs.
Yeah,
like, we can patch it post launch.
Definitely that. Like they have a date. Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of an old saying. Well, I don't know, the old saying where that the early adopters are the beta testers these days.
Oh yeah, that doesn't seem like
true.
An old saying.
That's why
it wouldn't exist 100 years ago.
Yes, back in the old days.
Back in the old days, we had beta testers.
Back in the old game. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So they have to meet like
When our grandchildren are listening to this recording.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
They're gonna be like, you didn't just holojack yourself to experience video games.
I don't know.
You had to like
you guys,
use a keyboard and a mouse. What the fuck are you talking about, Grandpa?
It's like a baby's toy.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the Future. It's mostly because of like schedules and keeping schedule. Like Street Fighter 5, good example because they really wanted to like have a complete game coming out on the release date, but they just couldn't. They just didn't do it. They couldn't pull it off. So they said, we are just coming out with what we have at this time, and when we finish the rest of the thing, we're just going to add it as a free DLC, and that's it. There's like can't really do anything about it. Like
Capcom is like bleeding a lot of goodwill doing shit like that, though.
Yeah, they could just say, okay, we are releasing like 6 months later, or something, and that would have been, I think, acceptable. Like people would be pissed, but like it's better to just come out with a good product out of the gate than like spoil a bunch of goodwill.
Yeah, I personally would rather.
Dimps is capable of doing this, right? Dimps released the latest Sword Art game, right? They developed the latest Sword Art game, and apparently that was pretty good. Yeah, Fatal Bullet was apparently pretty good. So there you go. Let Dimps do their work, and they'll do it properly. If you don't give them enough time, then you end up with Street Fighter fucking 5.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure there has to be something with stockholders. Like you have to keep when you say you're going to release something on some date. Like if you have stockholders, like you have to release it on that date, and that's that. So
yeah, it's I'm looking. What's the release date for this? February 16th, 2016. Mm-hmm. That right. It's Q1 2016, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the end of it's the last quarter in the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. They needed to make their fiscal year forecasts.
So that's a bummer, but
that's probably why.
Yeah, that's money, and having obligations. Like you gotta do it.
Right. I mean, it's probably sucks for Dimps, but I mean, Dimps is still getting work and good work, so probably can't complain too much.
Like not to say anything about like Kickstarters that like are 2 years overdue for a release of a product. So.
Oh yeah, I know people love Kentucky Route Zero, but I shit on Cardboard Computer all the time for not adhering to their schedule.
Yeah. But it's again, it's better to like not release something than release it at that, like right now with like really shitty controls or buggy game or whatever. Like maybe
I mean I respect that these things require a lot of polish.
Yeah.
But I will not withhold judgment on people for being unrealistic about their schedules.
Definitely. And I get why people are pissed about it, and that's why I would never, kickstart anything, because that seems like a nightmare. That seems like a living nightmare.
Oh I would never be able to manage it.
Yeah, I think if you approach Kickstarter as a gamble rather than an investment, it's probably easier to swallow. But I've never Kickstarted anything either.
Yeah, I think I kickstarted a couple of things, but I was never like really invested into them. Like I decided I wanted to see what's going to happen. Like you said, kind of a gamble. Like, oh, this might be good, and I'm investing money into it, but I'm not like expecting the final product to like be excellent. I'm just like hoping that whatever comes out will be interesting in any way.
Yeah.
So
I've thrown money at 2 Kickstarters and 2 Figs. So I've kickstarted A Hat in Time and The Good Life, and I've figged. There's got to be better verb for that.
I figged it. I figged it good.
Oh, God. I figged Birdo.
Oh no, God, no.
Okay, now I made it weird.
You made it too far, Merve.
I think Mr. Glitch has just like gotten up and left. Like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I can't deal with it.
I am not going to be associated with this product.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, he was cool with me faking love for Trump, but like talking about figging Birdo, that's too far.
Yeah.
You figged him where? Into what?
This
no.
far, Merve, no further.
No further. No further. That's what Birdo said.
No figging into Chloe. Come on, Merve.
Okay.
Oh, the nightmares. Oh, God.
Yeah. This podcast is now X-rated.
Well, Glitch, guess who's coming to your nightmares?
Okay. Anyway, so I crowdfunded on Fig.
Yeah, you figged it.
Whatchamacallit, Psychonauts 2 and Consortium of the Tower.
Well, if you bring it,
So hopefully
if this results in another Psychonauts game being, released,
You can fig whoever you want.
Are all forgiven. You can fig whoever you want. Just give me another Psychonauts game.
Yeah, I mean, it's set to come out next year. I don't know if they'll adhere to that schedule. I'm guessing it'll probably be delayed to like early 2020. But the schedule says next year, so hopefully it comes out and hopefully it's good, and I will play the fucking shit out of it because I fucking love the first Psychonauts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I will fig that game good.
It's pretty good.
Play Psychonauts, all you people out there in internet land. Play Psychonauts. You won't regret it.
I mean, the game is pretty good. The design is great. It's fantastic. It's funny, but like some of the gameplay is like not great at this point. Like I've played it not long ago, and it's like kind of cumbersome. Some of its gameplay.
I never found that, but I have weird opinions about 3D platformers.
Yeah, I know. I might be in the minority, but it's an older game.
I put it this way: I like DK64. I straight up think that's a great game.
I mean, you're a little bit biased because you picked Birdo for this one. So I mean, I can't
Hey, I didn't fig DK, so
you didn't fig DK. Don't fig me, bro. Anyway, let's just move on from this.
Okay. Let me look up if fig is actually a verb that means something.
Okay, oh God!
Just in case you're saying something super offensive and we don't realize it.
Yeah, sorry, Kappa.
Kappa, I have to cut all of this.
If we just rule 34 it ourselves, we're really sorry.
Okay, so fig means one of two things.
Oh God.
To fig up or to fig out means to dress up or rig out.
Okay.
Not so bad. Second definition: to administer stimulating drugs to a horse.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Well, Birdo's not a horse. He's a bird.
You might do that.
Birdo's got a long face, though. Birdo's got a bit of a horse face there.
Yeah, I guess so. I can see that.
I mean, Birdo could be a beast of burden. A beast of Birdo.
So you just kind of administered some drugs into Birdo's
Okay.
organ. Yeah. Well, that's fine.
I'm feeling a lot better about this
If
discussion.
you fig your horse in Red Dead, does it poop more?
You gotta fig him.
I couldn't
If you
imagine
fig him too much, do his testicles just like completely shrivel up?
Just gotta fig him good. Have you
Okay.
figged your horse lately? He might need it.
Don't fig him too much though, because then he'll get hair in weird places.
'Cause then he'll go blind.
On your palms, you'll get her on you. Well, okay.
Like hoof hair, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Okay, hoof hair. That could be the title of this episode. Okay.
I got major hoof hair. Whatever that means. I
Don't fucking know.
okay, moving
What
on.
are we even talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, so
So how about them games that were, were
okay,
bad
yeah.
and then got good? How about them games?
Those games.
You're
Yeah.
so bad at podcasting. Yeah, so so we see shaky starts kind of because
Like to this
You know, it's
podcast,
very difficult to-
it was a very shaky start, but we got better.
Yeah, how many podcasts have come before us?
this is episode 41.
Okay, well there we go.
So we fucked it up the first 40 times and continued to fuck it up.
We knocked it out of the park tonight.
It's pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, this is an
Now-
entertaining episode. There was
This
figging.
is the most train wrecky podcast since the one I recorded with I think it was you and Banner Thief. It was Science and Banner Thief.
Jesus.
That was like the most
Whenever
train
I'm
wreck.
on a podcast, things go off the rails pretty hard.
They're more fun
I mean,
that way.
I think I've been pulling it off the rails more than you guys today.
I think I'm just
I have no
like
self-discipline
encouraging
right now.
you.
Yeah, I put Banner Thief on the podcast. It's just gonna go way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We love you, Banner Thief.
Oh, yeah,
Banner
Banner
Thief's a cool
Thief.
dude. He's a cool
Love ya.
enough dude. So we sort of know why video games have shaky starts. Either they may misread the market, or they just don't have time to polish the game. Are there any games that are currently out that you think could be polished? Either they're the first game in a series and you think they could have a better sequel, or you think that there's a game that could be polished or fixed up with some patches or DLC.
Interesting thing about Red Dead Redemption, I think like they went in a kind of a completely different angle. They took a completely different angle on that. Like Red Dead Redemption 1, kind of a similar game, but I have heard a bunch of people said that they don't like Red Dead Redemption 2 as much as the first one. So, yeah, I think that game kind of changed in a strange way. Not to say that Red Dead Redemption 1 was a failure or anything. It was a huge game and very well received, but definitely they did something different with it in the sequel. I think it's not exactly refined. Definitely not the controls, but yeah, but it's weird seeing how Rockstar works with sequels and refining and all of that. And I just want to see what Rockstar does next. Maybe they will have an interesting sequel in the works. I don't know, but probably GTA will be next, right? It always is.
Yeah, I don't know what they could do to fix GTA at this point. 'Cause
It's weird.
GTA 5.
It's such a weird thing.
GTA 5 is sort of disappointing me. I think it's also that video game culture has kind of moved on from GTA
Yeah.
in a way. I mean,
Oh, I know. Sorry. How about that Fallout 70 whatever, 60 whatever?
Fallout
wait.
76?
Yeah, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
That's a trash fire, I heard.
yeah,
I've heard so many different I mean, it seems to be like the game is good if you're playing it with a group of people that that work out well, and then I've heard it absolutely totally sucks. I guess since it's entirely multiplayer or almost entirely multiplayer.
I've heard basically it just shouldn't be soloed. It's also
Could
super
they
glitchy,
fix it?
but
Could they like add some things that would they? Okay, so is it a by design thing that it shouldn't be soloed, or did they just not have enough content for a single player person?
I
I
don't think it
think-
even has a single player component. I don't think.
like,
Yeah, but it doesn't really have interesting single player aspect to it, right? It's all one world, right? So how exactly does it work? Is it like instance based, or is it like MMO?
yeah, you're in an instance with like, I don't know, 10, 20 other people. I'm not sure entirely
Okay.
how it works. But what they should really due to. I think the reason why people have responded negatively is because they advertise it as like, oh yeah, you can play by yourself if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can play with a group if you want, you can play by yourself if you want. Like they're trying to reassure the Fallout faithful that they weren't abandoning them.
Yeah.
And they should have just owned that they were abandoning them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people tried to play a solo game, like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's their fault because that's how it was advertised.
But sometimes I think like if it sucks when it's solo, like the gameplay, like you might enjoy the company of the people you're with more than the gameplay. Like
that's totally true.
What does it say about the gameplay if like it sucks when it's solo?
So I'm gonna say something semi-controversial. Left 4 Dead fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But I played that game for I don't know how many hours with some old undergrad buddies.
Me too.
Just because we would use Skype with zombies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We abandoned it the second we started playing Payday because we're like, yeah, Payday actually is fun as opposed to Left 4 Dead, which is garbage.
Just emails now. If we haven't got emails before about the figging, now we'll get the emails.
Yeah. And now I just remembered figging is sticking things up your butt. So.
Okay, yeah, moving on from that. The Left 4 Dead, like it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a bad game, but it was definitely very simplistic and not quite fun if you like are joined to like with a bunch of random people. Like it was only
terrible though.
Yeah,
it feels like you're fighting. It feels like you're firing. It feels like you're firing like a laser gun.
But
there's no weight.
But it has some cool mechanics for like.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, the fact that it basically punishes you for going off and doing your own thing when you should be looking out for your compadres. I always kind of admired about that. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of co-op games that really go out of their way to make sure that you keep co-op.
Yeah.
Like the way that Left 4 Dead did, and I think it does a really good job of alerting you when somebody needs help, and it rewards you for working together.
I think that the one thing that it was genius at doing was like making you the mode where you control the monsters. Like that was extremely like asymmetric multiplayer is not found is not very frequent. Like two teams that are completely different have completely different mechanics. It's hard to do, and they did it very well. It was very good.
You know what I remember as like the first instance of this?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Perfect Dark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so they had counter-operative mode where you'd have two people hooked up to the N64, and then one would be playing as Joanna, the protagonist, and then another would be playing as like a random henchman.
Oh,
that's cool.
And you could like hunt down Joanna and kill her.
Oh, I remember Splinter Cell had like mercenaries and spies mode that also had that totally kind of thing. Like spies were trying to get into a complex, and mercenaries were like trying to protect the complex, and they have completely different abilities and like objectives. So, yeah, well, that was also cool.
Bringing it back to the games that at least have a lot of promise, if not necessarily polish. Friday the 13th. It's completely entirely asymmetrical, which is something that makes it very charming. But there's a lot of it was broken.
Weren't they like sued by the people that have Friday the 13th IP, like something like that?
From what I understand, I don't know the details of it, but I think at this point, basically all the DLC for Friday the 13th is on hold. Everything that wasn't already released is now on hold. It's either been completely shelved or it's pending litigation.
Yeah,
they didn't secure the rights for one of the movies. I don't know which. I don't know, it's a mess.
It was from what I've seen of the game. It was a very interesting idea, but it was very clunky.
Very, very clunky.
Yeah. So that in that case, just like more polish would have been like a good idea when it comes to like gameplay, because glitches were like prominent.
Oh wow, this came out last year. I just completely
Oh,
missed
yeah.
this game.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty good. It was, I mean, it was interesting. It was filled with bugs, though.
If you got a good crew, if you got, people who are interested in playing the game and, working together as the counselors, if you had a good Jason,
if you
it was
want a
lot
game,
of fun.
if you want a game where you just have a good crew of people and have fun, Velvet Sundown is the weirdest fucking thing, and I recommend.
Never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, it's really weird. It's it's like this weird role-playing game. It's not great, but it's about everyone's on a ship is a spy and have their own agendas, and you're kind of role-playing a person, and it's text to speech. So wherever you type in the chat, your avatar says in a very convincing human voice, and you're kind of role playing these people, and it's very weird. I recommend looking into it.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, and I do want to try it out.
It has harsh reviews because actually it doesn't have a lot of gameplay, and whatever gameplay it has, it's not very clear. But the premise. Yeah, the premise and the fact that you have to really get into the role play, it really does work, and it's kind of fun. But that game still had a bunch of problems with speaking about games that had a rough start. That game had rough start when it comes to server maintenance and lags and all of that. Which is frequent when it comes to multiplayer games.
So have they improved since
yeah,
then?
yeah, they improved. They had couple of patches, and when it comes to multiplayer games, you have that peak, that first peak. The same happened with Diablo 3, right? It's just they didn't have enough servers, and you don't really. I understand why, because it's not like they didn't know how many people will try to log in, but what are they going to do? Rent servers? They can't buy a bunch of things and then not use them for the duration of the rest of the runtime of the game, right? Because you buy twice as many servers as you need for the 95% of the longevity of the game, and you just need those servers for the first month. Well, that doesn't make any business sense. So
I mean, if I had to guess,
you could
for something like that, they'd probably cloud.
Yeah, but
you'd offload your processing to the Amazon cloud or something like it.
I don't think when Diablo 3 came out, that process was really that well made. Now it's more popular, and makes more sense. But then and there, it was I think they just kind of couldn't do that.
Yeah, I think now there's more flexibility, and we should see less of these launch woes.
Yeah,
but you never know.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. So there's one game that I think was potentially the first game in its series and could spawn sequels that I think could really be fixed up in a sequel. That's Yooka-Laylee. That game is not great. It's really not great at all.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it to death on this podcast and why it's not great, so I'm not going to go over it again.
It's your favorite gamer, from what I understand.
I think I named it the third or fourth worst game of 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. I mean, the only reason it appeared remotely better is because there's actually a worse 3D platformer released that year.
Which one?
Poi. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, that one.
And then there were two really, really good 3D platformers released that year, Super Mario Odyssey and Hat in Time.
Yeah, Hat in Time.
Yeah, both of which were excellent, so it kind of added up. Anyway, as for Yooka-Laylee, I just don't think collectathons are. I like collectathons. I like the whole concept of 3D platforming. I think the game controls well. Really, all they need to do in a sequel is just completely different level design, just better level design. And I think that's something you can fix fairly easily in a sequel. If the fundamentals of the game are decent, all you really need to do is fix the level design and make a better sequel.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter game, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't kickstart Ukulele because it already had like way surpassed its funding. So I was like, I don't need to kickstart this. I'll just buy it when it comes out.
Oh, that reminds me. Do you?
Turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it reminds. Sorry, I cut in, but I just got reminded of Bloodstained and how people were so negative when the beta came out, and the developer said that okay, so we have to work on it some more and like change the release date. So
That's coming out next year now, right?
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's been delayed a lot.
Yeah, and
Wasn't it supposed to originally come out in like 2017?
Yeah, there was, and then it was like, oh, we for sure 2018, and then the beta came out, and people were like, and they were like, okay, so fine, we will work on it, but don't expect.
We'll make our costumes skimpier.
But yeah, 2019, possibly, maybe,
Probably.
probably.
I don't know. We might have another like
When I
Duke Nukem Forever on our hands.
Oh, how
Oh, Lord.
Oh God, no. But it seems like it's very complete game. But whenever I've seen footage of it, it didn't. It's not just doesn't seem like it's flashy enough, like fun, like snappy. Like it's not like everything is slow moving and kind of like not there. But maybe when it comes out in 2019. Fingers crossed, because I'm a big fan of Castlevania, Metroidvania games.
Yeah, I'm getting. I'd be more excited about it, but I'm also getting bad. Do you guys remember this Metroidvania called Apotheon?
Yes.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
it was a kind of like a stylized Greek
Greek pottery.
pottery.
style
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah, that game was not good.
It wasn't.
And that's what That's what Bloodstained looks like
Yeah.
to me. The same sort of pacing.
Yeah.
Same sort of combat.
Yeah.
And Apotheon was just bad.
That's a bummer,
Sorry,
because that
guys.
game. I mean, the artwork
looks-
for that
it's
looked
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous artwork.
It's
yeah.
a gorgeous game, and it's just a slog to
Yeah,
play.
it's all about like when it comes to like those kinds of 2D action games, you really have to have like a very snappy combat where you
Right.
feel the weight of your character, but it cannot be sluggish. It has to be like very reactive and very
It's very
fast.
responsive.
Yeah, very quick, very But this looked like very like slow, and that doesn't seem fun.
Yeah, you really need that. You really need butter smooth controls.
Yeah.
which is hard to pull off if you want nice animation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a requirement. I think in this case, sort of doing animation cheats and kind of fudging the animation is probably better in the long run than
Yeah, like
having to deal with.
I remember, like
Back
Castlevania, Symphony of the Night was so fun because it was just like you could find your like shortcuts to. It's difficult for me to articulate exactly, but like I moved around that game by backdashing because it was
Yeah.
quicker than moving. So you kind of just it was very like animation priority wasn't really a thing. Like you could just jump out of a backdash into a fast strike and like do whatever you wanted basically, and it
Right.
like created
Yeah.
this world where you kind of like dictated how you wanted to play the game, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
you're-
working.
Your
Yeah.
character moves before the animation happens, which is nice.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, it
like
was
you,
very pleasant.
it's, when even just doing a 180,
Yeah, it
your
just
character
snaps.
does this crazy. Yeah, I mean he snaps from one side to the other, just like in an instant. But the animation is this big florid, sweep of his cape, and
Yeah, and it works.
and it worked. I mean, the aesthetics are perfect, but the controls are not hurt at all by. The extra added frames
Yeah.
of animation,
It's
because
it's not Dark Souls. It has to be way snappier than that.
right.
So, but yeah, that's a Bloodstain. I hope it comes out good. I just
Yeah, I'm rooting for it. I want it to be good. I'm probably not going to play it, but I want other people to enjoy it. And I want Koji Igarashi
yeah.
to have a successful career.
With his hat and his whip. I hope he...
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he does.
He's a fun dude.
Yeah.
And he hasn't, like, burned his goodwill like, say, Keiji Inafune.
Oh,
so.
jeez, yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't let this podcast go without mentioning Mighty Number 9.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. How about that
Yeah.
new Mega Man, though?
Apparently that was good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's good news.
Things.
Yeah, so apparently this is hilarious. Capcom is like the pettiest fucking company on the planet. So they refuse to release Mega Man games for years on end. Keiji Inafune gets frustrated, leaves the company, makes his own fucking Mega Man ripoff, and it sucks shit. And then, like, Capcom finally, once they realize Mighty Number 9 sucks shit, they're like, oh yeah, we're making a new Mega Man game. And it actually turns out to be good.
Yeah.
They're the pettiest fucking losers on the planet.
No, they only
dick
I love
move.
it.
They only make good games when it's out of spite. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you, man.
Welcome to Spike Games.
Yeah, fuck you, Inafune. We'll make our own Mega Man with blackjack and hookers.
How dare you
And-
have left our company?
Yeah, like what? I mean, Konami's got to get some of that Magic Capcom spite because apparently Metal Gear Survive was garbage.
Yeah.
So
No, they-
if Konami,
They'll make what the fuck is that name called? Stranding, Left Stranding, Life Stranding,
Death
Left
Stranding.
Death Stranding. Yeah, they make their own Death Stranding, and it's going to be way
Nice,
better
it's
than Death Stranding.
Or where the hell that even came from.
It's gonna be something like Mortality Abandoned or something like that.
Yeah. Just come up with, hey, do you have a thesaurus? Let's just come up with some like synonyms for this shit.
Except for it's gonna be like
You also
translated from Japanese.
carry dead people through the desert, but it's way more fun.
So they're probably gonna like translate it wrong. It's gonna be like mortality threading.
The thread of mortality.
Random wording.
See, that actually works because they're like doing the whole like red string of fate imagery there, so they could make that work.
Sure.
Yeah, so go for it, Konami. We're encouraging you to spite Hideo Kojima.
Oh yeah.
Just go for it.
Oh yeah.
And I think on that note, we should probably call this podcast to a close before it devolves into calling out other Japanese developers and telling their former employers to spite them. So is there anything else you guys wanted to mention before we ended this?
I think we've said enough in this podcast.
Good. I think we have said enough. Just to remind our listeners, if you'd like to keep up to date with the podcast, you can follow us online. We have a website at avocadogamescast.wordpress.com. So you can just go there and like subscribe. How are you subscribe to WordPress blogs? I can speak English.
Blurs, blobs.
Blah, 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 blah.
When you went
So-
into that lower tone, I thought we were actually getting a sponsor. Like,
No.
I want to remind your listeners that
Listeners, I want to remind you that Squarespace is great.
it still sucks shit. They didn't give us anything.
Cough it up, Squarespace. This shit's not gonna end until you pay up. You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck.
We're like the fucking Better Business Bureau of podcasts.
That's right. We're the Tom
man,
Martino's
we-
troubleshooters of
I
podcasts.
love how we managed
slept
to-
on a Casper mattress, and it fucking gave me, I don't know, just
Rabies?
yeah. It gave,
What's a disease that won't offend anyone?
yeah, I was
Rickets.
Yeah,
Rabies.
Gave me
I was-
rickets.
Gave me scurvy.
I found myself in an impossible position when I was trying to come up with something. So thanks for that.
You're
My
just
blue
like,
apron meal
can't
was
say lupus now, can
unflavorful.
I? That's offensive now. Okay.
It gave me oh shit.
It
Give me a bad case of shits.
Oh yeah, exactly.
gave me
Everybody-
diarrhea. I just like I have a brown mattress now.
It gave me
I
diarrhea.
bought a blue mattress. Now it's brown. God. Anyway,
God, I stopped doing all that figging on that mattress. That's what I'm gonna say.
yeah. If you stick enough shit up your butt, eventually the shit has to come out. It's a one-way street, my friend.
Exactly. And that's how we end this podcast.
Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. So if typically on the website we don't talk about defecation. What we do post on the website is now I was gonna say typically we post a link dump.
Oh, there you go.
God damn it! Okay, so
Dump.
on the website we post a collection of links that fact checks the stuff we say here. So no links to poo.
The horrible stuff we say here.
Yeah, you can also subscribe to us on iTunes or Google Play Music. Just search for Avocado Gamescast, and make sure you check out the community that spawned this wonderful podcast, or the wonderful community that spawned this terrible podcast, depending on how you look at things.
Either way, really.
Check out the Avocado at the-avocado.org. Don't actually type out the word hyphen, just the character hyphen, because you type out the word hyphen, I don't know where that'll take you.
Something involving figs, I bet.
Yeah, the Fig. Fig.co actually is a website where you can crowdfund video games. Or, if you don't want to crowdfund, you can also invest and earn a return on your investment. Fig.co for the modern crowdfunder.
What are they sponsored?
Now, where's my money? Where's my money,
Figs?
Tim Schafer? Where's my money, Tim Schafer? Give me my money.
We just have to, create a Fig account and make ourselves
Make ourselves like a really shitty video game.
Fig us, people.
Yeah.
Dear
Fig us.
listeners.
Fig me, Tim Schafer.
Fig us.
Where's my fig? Okay.
Where's
God.
my fig?
Where's my fig?
Dude, where's my fig?
I think that could actually be... That's a better title than Hoof Hair, right? All right. Thank you guys for listening. And thank you to Science is Bad and Mr. Glitch for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time for our year-end extravaganza. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.